Sometimes in life we get given a good thing only to have it snatched right out of our hands shortly after. In our world of sugar and candy, there is always intense competition to make the next best thing that the kids will love and drive your sales through the roof, but not all sodas and candies are created equal. From Pepsi products to Coke products and all the fails in between, on today's top 10 list, I will be covering 10 discontinued sodas they should bring back. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Sprite Remix. Sprite Remix was a line of colorless sodas. The flavor was based upon regular Sprite, but there were actually different flavors of Remix, such as Tropical and Berry Clear. These sodas were released in the early 2000s, and along with the release of the regular Remix sodas, they also released Remix flavor packets that you could pour into your regular Sprite in order to remix it up. In 2005, Sprite Remix was sadly discontinued, but there's a little secret you may or may not know. In 2015, the tropical flavor of Sprite Remix was re-released under a new name and now goes by Sprite Tropical Mix. So if you're missing your hit of Sprite Remix, there is still some hope. In our number 9 spot today, we have Coca-Cola with lime. Okay. If you've worked in a restaurant before, you know how popular Coca-Cola is served with a wedge of lime. So it only makes sense that Coke would have made their own version. In 2005, Coke released Coca-Cola with lime, and it is quite literally exactly what it sounds like. They actually released Diet Coke Lime first in 2004, and it was such a hit that they released the regular version of it as well, but unfortunately, this one wasn't being as widely consumed as the diet version. This Coca-Cola product had the exact same recipe as the regular, but it just featured that twist of lime. While Diet Coke with lime still exists, there are only a few countries that still carry regular Coke with lime. I definitely think that they should bring this one back because not everyone enjoys drinking diet sodas. And I don't want to have to cut up all those limes anymore. In the number 8 spot today, we have 7-Up Gold. 7-Up Gold is one of the older sodas on this list as it made its first appearance in 1987. It was actually originally supposed to be released as a Dr. Pepper brand soda, but for some reason they decided to switch it up as a 7-Up release. This soda was brown in color and had a spicy cinnamon ginger flavor, which sounds very good, but unfortunately it just wasn't a hit. People speculate that it may have been the color that people didn't enjoy or the caffeine content. People would be turning to other brands such as Coca-Cola for a brown caffeinated soda rather than to 7-Up where they expect a caffeine-free lemon lime drink. This soda was discontinued in 1989, but I truly think that there might be a place for 7-Up Gold in 2021. We could use a new soda to mix things up a bit after all. In our number 7 spot today, we have Pepsi Blue. This is one that I can remember well from being a kid. Pepsi Blue came out in 2002 as a result of them tasting over 100 different flavors over a 9-month period to get it just right. This flavor was specifically marketed towards teenagers, which is why it had a bright blue color. While Pepsi described the flavor as berry, it definitely was more like a cotton candy kind of flavor with a kind of berryish aftertaste, and it certainly was very sweet. It actually did decently well, but there was backlash over the use of Blue 1, which was what was used to color the drink blue. This coloring agent is highly controversial and many countries don't allow it, and this is what led to the demise of the pop as it was discontinued in 2004. Here's the crazy thing though. As of filming this video, it was literally just announced 2 days ago that they will be bringing back Pepsi Blue this year. I truly can't wait to try this soda again that I remember so fondly from my childhood. In our number 6 spot today, we have Coke Black Cherry Vanilla. Coke Black Cherry Vanilla and the diet version of this flavor were released in 2006 as Vanilla Coke was being phased out and Cherry Coke was being renamed Coca-Cola Cherry. This combo of flavors was certainly expected to be a hit, but sales were just not there with this one for some reason. Maybe it was just too much. Black Cherry Vanilla Coke was averaging 4% of sales, while the diet version was averaging 3%. This was even worse than Coca-Cola Lime was doing, as it was at 9% at the same time, and like we previously discussed, those sales weren't even good enough for it to be continued. This led to this flavor line being discontinued in 2007. I'm not sure where these pop machines are. I think they're called Coke Freestyle machines, but sometimes there are those machines where you can choose the kind of soda and then the different flavor choices. So if you truly miss the cherry vanilla combo, it still lives on through those dispensers. In our number 5 spot today, we have Coca-Cola C2. This soda was first released in Japan in 2004, and then it saw its rollout in the US shortly after. This was a soda that was created in order to jump on the trend of sodas with a lower amount of carbohydrates, since during this time, diet trends like Atkins were extremely popular. This soda featured half the carbs, calories, and sugar that is seen in regular Coke, but it contained a ton of aspartame, sucralose, and fructose corn syrup. This soda simply just didn't sell well. It could have been due to the logo being slightly different than traditional Coca-Cola branding, but it also could have been due to the release of Coca-Cola Zero, which was the zero-calorie version, and those sales were doing much better. Coke held on to hope for this one for a few years, but C2 ended up being discontinued in 2007. In the end, there was also the release of Coca-Cola Life, which would feature stevia as an ingredient, which would make the use of all of those insane artificial sweeteners unnecessary, and that probably was the best course of action for the company. In our number 4 spot today, we have Lifesavers. When I talk about Lifesavers, we're all going to think of the candies, but at one point, they actually made a Lifesaver soda. This soda was created in the 80s, and while it did really well in taste tests, once it hit shelves, it totally tanked. People aren't exactly sure why it did so poorly, but there is speculation that it has to do with the fact that the soda and the candy were basically the exact same thing, save for their state of consistency. At the time of the launch, people were more interested in the sodas that made people feel like they were making a healthy choice, rather than a soda that was basically just liquid candy. All in all, I truly think that a Lifesaver soda could be a hit, and I'm surprised that the sales of it didn't do better the first time around. In our number 3 spot today, we have Mountain Dew Pitch Black 2. Okay, so Mountain Dew is one of the most controversial sodas just in general. They have had some absolute hits over the years, but their discontinued list is extensive. Pitch Black 2 was released in 2005 during the Halloween season and was the follow-up to the 2004 original Pitch Black soda. Both sodas were grape flavored, but this one was said to feature a sour bite. Many people who tried this soda explained that it tasted like candy, which obviously paired well with the Halloween theme. While the original Pitch Black soda did very well, this second version just did not have the same success. This was just a seasonal release, however, so regardless of the sales, the soda was never intended to stay on shelves. In our number 2 spot today, we have Surge. This soda was originally called Urge upon its initial release in Norway, but thankfully was renamed Surge when it began being distributed in more countries. This soda was originally released in 1997 as an answer to the release of Pepsi's Mountain Dew, and features that green-yellow color and that same sort of flavor. The commercials for the soda call it a fully loaded citrus soda with carbos. I have no idea what carbos are, but it clearly caught the attention of some people. This soda was discontinued in 2003, but people just could not handle the loss. This led to there being full-on movements related to this soda, and Coke actually listened. It started off in 2014 being re-released on Amazon Prime, but now it has become more widely available in some states as well as some other countries. So I guess this is one soda that was discontinued but is halfway back on the shelves. In our number 1 spot today, we have OK Soda. OK Soda comes from the Coca-Cola company, but it is much different than most things we have seen from them over the years. OK Soda was introduced in 1993 and it was targeting Generation Xers. It featured a neo-noir style branding, which was a design style that was based off of film noir, but for some reason the marketing was extremely strange, with them giving the soda some intentionally negative publicity. Basically, the whole idea behind it was to target the youth at the time who knew that they were being manipulated by the mass media. Instead of trying to continue this manipulation, they attempted to be more transparent about it, which is a super smart idea, but the delivery was where it lacked. The marketing ended up making the soda seem awful, as they focused on the feeling of the soda rather than the taste. They even actually advertised it at one point as carbonated tree sap. This led people to not being intrigued, as they felt they went too far in the opposite direction with the marketing, which ended up still making the youth at the time feel like they were being manipulated. This soda featured a more citric taste and is often referred to as tasting like swamp water, which is when you mix a bunch of different sodas all together. This soda ended up being discontinued in 1995, but it maintained a bit of a cult following, with some cans being sold on eBay for hundreds of dollars. In the end, I think the soda didn't really have anything to do with its downfall, and it certainly had more to do with the failed marketing strategy. Maybe one day, OK Soda will return with a vengeance. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Right of our off to a good start. This teleprompter's now skipping. That's the end of that sentence. Holy It is to serve Coca-Cola with a lime of wedge. With a lime of wedge? Am I losing my freaking mind? With a lime of wedge. I really just said that. Jesus Christ. Try this soda.